Yes, hi everybody and welcome. This is Lambi. Lambi has liver failure. This playlist was actually about my 12 horses and the introduction of them, but I decided to add Lambi to this playlist because she deserves a place too. Today I want to talk about Lambi's condition, that is liver failure, but started a while ago. I want to talk about the journey we have done with the animal hospital and what has happened and update you about the latest about her. But first I want you to kind of get to know Lambi a little bit. So I think I start 7 years ago. I decided that I maybe wanted to have another dog, but I wanted to train to become a service dog with a guide dog function. So I looked on the internet and found this dog that was actually the first in Sweden. She's a mixed breed, and I thought poodle will be perfect because we don't shade. And she has German Swiss Shepherd, and they are really loyal, great dogs. I had several. And she also had Shiloh, that is a big dog, and that is really great because then I can lean on the dog if it's slippery outside or something. And Shiloh is kind of like a really big German Shepherd. But Lambi was kind of small, and she do shade a lot of fur actually. Yes, anyway, we fell in love with Lambi when we met her as a puppy and brought her home. I started to train her, and we was kind of in a lot of stores where I worked with her and stuff like that. But I noticed kind of like that my vision had gotten a little bit worse, and that it actually was too difficult for me to train Lambi myself. And then another lot of stuff happened and I didn't train her. Anyway, so she is our dog, at home dog, you can say. And Lambi always has been kind of like a very happy dog.
Vad heter det? Tränas på markerade trappor och såna grejer.
Loving dog, sensitive. She feels things and it's difficult to explain. But she is awesome. For I think 2 weeks ago, 1.5 maybe, Lambi stopped eating. It was kind of like this. In normal case, when we comes with the food, she's kind of like, oh my God, I haven't had food for several weeks. I'm about to starve to death, and kind of throw herself over the food. But all of a sudden, she didn't want any food. Sometimes she can do like that when she is about to go into heat or something. So I actually thought that she was going to heat, but she didn't. So I called the local vet and got an appointment. The thing is that she didn't have any other symptoms. The day before we went to the vet, she started actually throwing up a couple of times. And she pooped, she peed, and she still was a little bit of her happy self, but I noticed she was a little bit tired, but not really tired. But it was time actually to go to the vet. So we did, went to the vet, and she examined Lambi and listened to her heart and checking all vital signs, and felt her stomach and stuff like that. But she didn't feel anything on the stomach, the heart sounded fine, and she couldn't see a problem. But she did the blood work. Lambi also actually peed outside the veterinarian clinic, and we called out the vet again because the pee was orange. And that was really weird, we thought. A couple of hours later, the veterinarian called us and told me that Lambi was in emergency liver failure, actually. Her test result come back and was so elevated, so it wasn't on the chart. It was too high to measure. So the vet got us an emergency appointment on an animal hospital, and we had to went there right away. And when we came to this place, we was put in a room where we had to wait. And when someone finally came, and of course we knocked on the door. I don't know if Lambi is the only dog in the whole world that barks when it knocks on the door, but she did. And they came in, and I was kind of like, yeah, she's already guarding this place. And they was like, if you are going to bark like that, we are not going to help you. And I thought it was so weird to say that, because it's actually their job to help dogs, barking or not. So anyway, they can come in, and hey, hur är det? Hej gumman. Hey. Are you going for a while? Yes, you can do that. She is kind of tired, actually. I think it's really good that she rests. Anyway, this person came in. I say person because she didn't say her name or anything like that. But she did introduce her that she had a trainee that was doing her education there, and it was her first day. And I asked, and who are you? Because I don't know, when I meet someone or doing business or whatever, I say, hello, my name is Mm.malinmelin, and I am, but she didn't actually. So finally she introduced herself and starting to tell the trainee about Lambi. And she referred Lambi to he, and I say, it's a girl. Okay, it's a girl, she said. But during the time, for like 30 seconds, she managed actually to call Lambi for he, referring to he. And I said, I don't see the problem here. I told you Lambi is a girl. And she was like, oh, okay. And when it was time for Lambi to jump the table, and she says, no, he can jump the table. And I was like, I don't understand what the problem is. I've told you several times that Lambi is a girl. And maybe you think that this isn't something to kind of think about or get upset about. But actually, if you can't take information that Lambi is a girl, how on earth are you going to take the information about Lambi's symptoms that I am describing for her? That worries me a lot, because that tells me that you don't have the capacity to acknowledge information and tell someone else the information. Yes, when we were done, the real vet came and examined Lambi and listened to her and stuff like that. She had no fever, anything like that. And during to the test, she had emergency liver failure. So of course Lambi had to stay. I hate having my dogs in animal hospital because I feel almost like they take my dog and I can't get information. And that worries me so much. So I told her about my worrying and that I wanted to know if anything got worse with Lambi or if Lambi wasn't comfortable or anything like that. And she told me that she would make special notes in the journal to call me if anything changes. So we left Lambi. I could see Lambi was a little bit upset. She didn't want to go with them. She wanted to go with us. We went home and they told me they should call me in the morning after they had done the ultrasound. But 2:30 in the evening, I was so worried. I was feeling, it didn't feel right. So I went to the web page actually to see if it was okay to call. And they kind of say, we keep the animals in focus in the center and you can call us day and night. So that felt good, so I did. And I talked to someone that answered and asked about Lambi, and she told me that Lambi had been stressed. So they had to give her anxiety medicine. And that call I actually would have appreciated, but my dog was so stressed, so they had to give her anxiety medicine. Yes. The day after in the morning, a girl called me, let's call her Michelle, and told me that it was time for Lambi's ultrasound. And we talked about how Lambi's night had been, and we talked actually for I think 30 minutes. I can't remember everything we talked about now, but she promised me that when the ultrasound was done, someone would call me and tell me that Lambi didn't had any, that she lived actually after this, because we were going to do needles in the liver and the gallbladder to check for abnormalities. And it's always a risk to do stuff like this, because it can be like it leaks fluid out to the abdomen. So she promised that someone should call me after to say that she was alive. And the clock went to 12 and I was like starting to get a little bit worried. 1:30 when I couldn't wait, so I called. And they answered and told me, yes, she is awake, blah, 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 blah. And I said, why didn't you call me and tell me? No, we are going to put every test results together before we call you. And I said, you promised to call me. Anyway, he said, we will call you later this afternoon. I think 4:30 something. The veterinarian actually called me. Telling me that they had did the tests, and also telling me that Lambi was so incredibly stressed out. She needed to be under medical care, but she was so stressed, so she wasn't doing good at all. She told me that they have given her anxiety medicine, but it hadn't helped. So Lambi actually had tried to bite out of her cage. I don't know what to say about it. So she had been biting in her cage, so she had wounds in her mouth because she had hurt herself That was awful to hear that. So anyway, she told me that it was better for us to pick up Lambi and to try to treat her the best way we could at home. So we decided to go right away, of course, to the hospital to pick Lambi up. When we came to the hospital, the problem was also that we couldn't do the thing with the insurance company because they were closed. So I asked the vet, how much money does it cost so I can pay? And she told me like 2,800. But when we arrived to the hospital, it was 3,300 because I don't know. So I asked them about that, and they told me they should check on that. Anyway, we went to a room where we were supposed to wait for Lambi, and this girl came in. Actually, she didn't say who she was either. She didn't introduce herself. And when she were going to pick up Lambi, I said to Jesper, I know this person's voice. I think it's Michelle that I talked to this morning. But she talks to me like she never have talked to me before. And when she came back, I said, I think I talked to you this morning actually. And she was like, no. And I'm like, yes, I'm pretty sure. What's your name? And she like, Michelle. And I'm like, are you two Michelles working here? No. And I was, so we did talk this morning, and she was quiet for a while and was like, yes, we did. That wasn't a good feeling for me, because I actually talked 30 minutes to someone about my dying sick dog this morning. And then I meet this person later when she is supposed to release Lambi to me, and she can't understand that it's me and Lambi together, and that is so weird for me. I think that the knowledge we have in this place is nothing wrong with. I think we do have knowledge, and I think we are good veterinarians and nurses. But the way... Excuse me. Vänt. Malin.
Hi, yes, Teresa from Malin Hospital.
Hey, Teresa.
Hi. How is Lambi doing? Is it better?
Perfect. Thank you so much for calling, Teresa.
No problem. Bye.
Bye. Where we have knowledge, really good knowledge. She's a really good veterinarian, actually. So, but we were talking about Michelle and the knowledge of that it is good veterinarian and nurses. It's just something that have changed the last 10 years, I think. And it's how people care and how people interact with other people. It's something, I'm worried about the humans, actually, because something isn't right. And we got this paper, what medications Lambi should be on. And I'm trying to read through all this, and when I come to the end, it says, good luck, Flisan, hope you feel better soon. So much for the animal in the center. This is kind of just not caring enough to read the papers to see that it actually is the right dog. This I think is worrying, and I don't like it. Yes, anyway, it was time for Michelle to go and get Lambi, and Lambi came into us. I was kind of ready for a crazy dog to meet me, because she gets so happy when she has been separated for 5 minutes. But she was kind of laid back, She kind of looked dead in her eyes. I don't know how to say it, apathic. She said her hi and everything, but she wasn't, it wasn't Lambi. Difficult to explain, but it wasn't. Jesper and I noticed right away that she was yellow on the side. And I was like, what is that? It must have been something from the ultrasound when we did that. If we had something on, or I don't know. So we said, oh, we need to go home and clean her, actually. Anyway, Jesper picked up the car, so we could bring Lambi out and brought her home. She was really tired when she got home. She had trouble walking. She was wingly. She just wanted to sleep. I managed to get some food in her. And of course the medication, because it was a lot of medication. She was put on antibiotic, and she had some liver support, 2 medications, and she also had for nausea and for appetite stimulation. And we gave her all of that, but she still didn't want to eat. The thing I actually got her to eat is cucumber, carrots, melon, stuff like that. We didn't wanted to give her too much high fat because of the liver. The dog food she don't want to eat. So that was really difficult, and it's so difficult when we don't eat, because we do need to eat to get healthy. The day after we got her home, we saw her in the daylight and saw that this yellow thing wasn't possible to wash off, actually. So we started looking in her ears, and they were yellow, and we looked, her eyes was yellow. So this is actually something that happened on the veterinarian clinic, the hospital, because the day we left her, we was with another veterinarian a couple of hours before we left Lambi at the hospital, and she didn't see that Lambi was yellow anywhere. And no one told us that, oh, your dog is starting to turning yellow, because that is not a good sign at all, actually. I believe that Lambi was so stressed out at the hospital, so her liver almost collapsed. And when she actually turned yellow. That is what I think. Because every day since she has been home, she is less yellow. And that is actually a really good sign. So the first night she was home, she was laying in the bed. I was kind of watching her, because it almost felt like she was slipping away from us. Jesper and I had a discussion if we should go back with her, but actually decided that that will for sure kill her. So we decided to do the best we could at home. And she is still alive, so I think that was the best decision for Lambi. So the things we have been doing is trying to get this dog to eat. She has been a little more happier and for each day, and can run some in the yard and stuff like that. So I feel that she is on the right track. But the problem is that we don't know what's wrong with the liver. Because the veterinarian contacted me again, telling me about the needle things we did in the liver and the gallbladder. And the thing was that the liver is a little bit smaller than normal, and the gallbladder wall is a little bit thicker. they didn't find any signs of bacteria. Neither did they find cancer. So that is good things. But what is left? Yes. Can it be a condition that has been going on for long? Or can it be poisoning? Because the liver can act like this then. And that we don't know. So the thing that we are doing now is kind of like keep treating her. We are not giving the nausea medication and stimulating thing because it didn't help, and those two medications are actually bad for the liver, so if it doesn't help, why give? Yesterday, no, the day before that, I decided to go to the local vet to do some testing on Lambi, because I hoped that the values would be better, so we didn't have to go back to the clinic where Lambi was feeling so bad. But the testing wasn't better, so we had to go back to the clinic to do more testing. And it's actually these results that I just received. So the liver values are, some of them, a little bit better, and the bilirubin, the thing that turns her yellow, has actually gone down, but not. I think the reference should be 9, and she was at 160, but she was at 200 or 300 when she was at the clinic. So I think it's so important to look at the whole picture, and I am actually not sure if this is a liver problem, or it is a liver problem, but can it be like a stomach problem too, because she don't want to eat and she eats a lot of grass. So I don't know. You need to look at the whole dog and not just focus on the organ that is failing, because it can be something else that have started that. We will keep trying to feed her, of course, and I also ordered milk thistle that should help her. We have gotten so many tips from all over the world about what to do and what to give Lambi, and for that we will always be grateful, actually. These having sick animals is so difficult because we worry so much, and I haven't been with the horses for several days now because Lambi kind of needs my full attention. And yesterday she actually had her birthday. She turned 7, so that was awesome. In 1 week we are going to do new tests and see if we are going in the right direction or not. I want to thank you so much for your support, for all the prayers you are saying for Lambi. I am so confident and sure that prayers actually helps. Yes, so this was Lambi's story in this playlist. I update every day on Facebook. I update my paying members here on YouTube, so you are welcome to join if you like. So next week I actually hope to introduce a horse for you. Yes, talk to you later. Bye.